Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my Gas TurbineCat hard enamel pin. This pin is part of my More Cats Doing Science collection. The More Cats Doing Science pin collection features more than 35 designs of cats doing science and science-adjacent activities. Now let's get into the design. Alright, so a little backstory for this particular pin design. I had gotten a lot of requests of people wanting me to do a mechanical engineering cat. Cool, no problem, sounds great. And because I got so many requests, I felt, pretty confident that it was going to be a popular one. The thing is, I don't really know much about mechanical engineering. I did a little bit of research, a lot of it was over my head. But the thing that stuck with me was that it has to do with the generation and use of kinetic energy. So I was like, okay, cool, mechanical engineering, cool, okay, I think I understand it sort of. I still don't have an idea. Let's go with a bunch of gears. And so the idea originally was going to be, like a cat in a lab coat and a whole bunch of interconnected gears, like that was, driving something. I don't know what. I never got that far. I mean, I tried doing the gear thing, but it did not look good. When I tried to do the gears in perspective, the teeth were just so small that I couldn't figure out how to make it look like interconnecting gears in a way that it wasn't going to end up getting like smushed and weird looking during the production process. And, there's probably a way to do it, and I may explore that later because, lots of people like gears. I like gears, and I think that that would be a fun design. But the gears did not work out. So after I had made my failed gear attempt, I got yet another, you should do mechanical engineering, comment probably on my Instagram. And I was just feeling frustrated, and I was like, yeah, I know I should. I just can't figure out what to do or how to make it look good. And the person replied back to me like, you should totally do like a cat riding a turbine engine. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And so I wrote it down in my little book on my list of potential pin designs. And then as I was wrapping up the designs leading up to the launch of this project, I was just staring at it and I saw, cat riding turbine engine. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's try and make this work because it's a great idea. I was very tempted to give him a little cowboy hat that he was waving around, like he's riding a mechanical bull, only he's riding, the turbine engine. I ended up not doing that because I thought that the little cowboy hat would actually lessen the appeal of the design as an overall statement. But in my head, when I see this, I imagine that he's waving around a little cowboy hat. So, this design is, a scientist kitty riding a gas turbine engine. And some of you, I've said that phrase a number of times here, and someone's probably, thought to themselves, what exactly is a gas turbine engine? To my understanding, these are very similar to jet engines, if not one of those two phrases being a subset of the other. I'm not really sure which. But really what's happening here, my understanding, and I apologize to any mechanical engineers out there if I goof this up, but my understanding of the function of these engines is that there's a compressor, something that intakes the air and compresses it to a very high pressure. That is then mixed with a fuel, a jet fuel, a high octane type fuel that's specifically designed to combust well in high pressure and produce a high heat. And so that compressed air and the fuel are ignited and still under high pressure at this point, I believe. And so what happens is it makes, a very hot explosive flow of gas, which is then pushed through the rest of the engine, which spins fan type blades. I believe that those are called the turbines. And, so some of that energy is turned into mechanical energy to turn the fans, which are then used to power, possibly used to power the compressor or, other external components that the engine is used for. Apparently, turbine engines are used for, generation of electricity or powering large manufacturing facilities and all kinds of things like that. They're not just strapped to airplanes to produce thrust. But producing thrust is one of the things that they're good at. Apparently, the thrust that you get from a jet engine is functionally the exhaust or waste product that is produced by these engines. So it's basically like a jet engine. The biggest difference from what I understand in how they're designed is generally, how much of that energy is being turned into a mechanical force versus how much of it is coming out the back of the engine as thrust. So that ratio is really, the big thing about gas turbine engines and, getting them set up well for their intended application. Anyway, if you've enjoyed watching me design this pin, hear me talk about all kinds of things as we're doing it, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I try to release at least 1 to 2 new videos every week, and I would love to have you along for the next one. So thank you so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day.